for giving me an opportunity to come here and speak to all of you. As the theme is sustainable development, green, so I will just briefly touch upon that. I'm not an expert in that area, but being in real estate in today's time, you cannot, it's a very important topic and you can't avoid it. Some of the statistics I got, and I hope this is not a repetition to what you've been hearing since morning, but I was quite amazed myself when I got a number that more than 3 billion square feet of green footprint. India has more than 3 billion square feet of green footprint, which was in 2003, 200,000 square feet. And I was wondering, I said, that sounds very large, 3 billion square feet. The fact is that this includes all the residential development in India, mixed use developments, and also a lot of the new buildings people who are constructing, they are registering with both IGBC and US GBC. Of course, that number in the US is 10 billion square feet, and we have a long way to go. I also believe there are 3,200 developments registered with the IGBC, which is the Indian Green Business Council, and 1,600 with the US Green Business Council. India has the third largest green footprint outside the US. Again, I found that very surprising because if you look at our number of buildings India has, or the entire footprint is not as large as a lot of other countries, but still, it seems that India has taken this up seriously. And after Canada and China, outside the US, Canada and China, India is, is one of the largest, has the largest green footprint. There is also an indigenous rating system called GRIHA, which most of you would know, which is under TERI, and another 650 projects are registered there. What I also found out was that Chandigarh Airport has achieved something called GRIHA 4, and this is the first airport which has that green rating. Interestingly, 9 metro stations on Faridabad line have been awarded IGBC Platinum rating, and this is the first time this has happened. So overall, there's lots happening in India. And before coming here, I tried to get some statistics. We as a company are also obviously really into sustainable development, and some of the statistics I saw, I was surprised myself. But as you know, green buildings do reduce energy by 24 to 54%, carbon dioxide emissions by 30%, water consumption by 40%, etc. Why? What is the need for sustainable development or green? And you know the answer more than I would. There is shortage of energy, there's shortage of water. Water shortage is not being discussed as much as it should be. Most of your students, so you'll be reading that the next so-called wars may not be for oil but maybe for water. And I don't think there's enough discussion which takes place on water shortage, including in India. In fact, India may be one of the worst affected countries as far as water shortage is concerned. Of course, global warming is another reason why we need to really look at sustainable development. There's a book called 6 Degrees by someone called Mark Lanes, and in that book, one of the things what is mentioned is that if the global temperatures rise by 4 degrees, Mumbai would be submerged because of rise in sea level. It's another story that Mumbai is submerged every monsoon anyways, but it really is serious, and therefore we need to really look at sustainable development. We owe it to our future generations to do that. CBRE, the company I represent, we in India manage 165 million square feet plus of space. We have done construction management of more than 100 million square feet. Globally, we manage 5 billion square feet of space, which means that we alone as a company can be a big catalyst in sustainable development. We have that influence because indirectly we control so much space. But we as a company already went carbon neutral in 2010. And we have a huge commitment to sustainable workspace. CBRE's LA office, which is our headquarters, is the world's first WELL certificate, got world's first WELL certification, and I tried to find out what does that mean. This certification really means that besides all the buildings certifications on green and sustainable development, this is also the services you offer to the occupants, be it health services, transportation and food. Even those are rated for sustainable development. This is the first in the world. Um, Globally, more than 800 million square feet of workspace, which is managed by CBRE, observes this Earth Hour. Most of your young students, you know what Earth Hour is. And we in India manage 30 green rated buildings and 5 platinum rated buildings. So lots happening from our side as a company. We have full-time 13 accredited sustainability green professionals in India itself. And we help clients reduce consumption of energy, use of water in a sustainable manner, etc. And there are several other buildings, 2 CBRE managed buildings that actually got National Energy Conservation Award. So this is all on green sustainable development, which was a theme. Can't overemphasize the importance. And going forward, most of the clients, people who are looking for space, be it multinational corporations, government, any business would be looking for sustainable development, green development, and they'll prefer those locations. Coming to, I've been in the real estate industry for more than 20 years. You are students of built of school environment. Like Sunil said, we had a lot of discussions during RICS time, what should the school be called? And that itself took several days because we said, should it be called a real estate and construction school? Should it be called? There were many names, and I'm glad that the School of Built Environment came as a name because that really is apt because it covers a larger campus. I would just want to briefly talk about real estate. Most of you cannot even imagine how India was 21 years back or 20 years back, and how real estate industry was 20 years back. It was non-existent, but still very, very difficult time to set up. We as a company, CBRE, were the first international real estate consultancy firm to set up in India. And you could imagine at that time our economy, even now is a small economy, although people think that we are a major economy, we're still a very small economy, and that time it was nothing. The real estate market itself was extremely small. If I look at the numbers in the office space, what I recall is that all of India had about 30 million square feet of office space. And I remember that time I used to say that was less than the office space in Bangkok, not only in London, Paris, New York, There was no people, no talent available. The real estate as a profession was non-existent. And here we come up and set up a company. And I'm so pleased today I'm standing here as this is the first real professional degree course or college there is in India, and that with RICS. And a lot of you will come out as professionals coming into the industry. Even myself, when I started, I had international marketing experience, had no experience in real estate. Everybody we hired that time obviously had no background of real estate. And today, thanks to, I would say again, RICS and the team, at least there is a institution like RICS School of Built Environment, which is offering this degree, and there will be professionals like you coming into the industry. But it was difficult to really train people to get, and most importantly, to attract them to the industry. Why should they be in real estate? Of course, there was no brand, there were no vendors, and the real estate market itself, there was hardly anything happening. Of course, that was a time when economy was opening up, the reforms started, and we saw multinationals coming in, and therefore we were able to sustain ourselves in the first few years' time. Coming to now, from the 30 million square feet, we have 450 or 475 million square feet of office space in India, which is a big number. But again, compared to Tokyo, just the city of Tokyo has billion square feet of office space. So we are still far behind, in spite of a huge country, and we think we've got 1.2 billion population. Our market is still very small. If you look at retail, that time of course there were no retail malls. Then later on, Sunil will know this, there was one mall which came in an entire country. And today we may have 60, 70 million square feet of mall space shopping centers in India. China alone this year will add 65 million square feet of space in retail, just this year. We don't have that much space put together in India. So we are still far behind, and I will come to that later, that is why there's the biggest opportunity in our country. Going forward, I would say all of you sitting here are extremely lucky. And I was just thinking, I wish I was sitting there listening to my speech instead of giving speech, because for next 20 years will be much more exciting than the last 20 years what we have seen. No doubt there was a huge change since last 20 years in the market. But next 20 years, when you come into the real world of the job market, it's just going to be really exciting, huge growth opportunities, so much to be done. I mean, our GDP growth is expected to be high going forward. The consumption is going to increase. Migration is going to happen. We are still a small economy, like I mentioned earlier. But going forward, we are expected. I think you would know the stats better than me, but I assume we are a $1.6 trillion economy. This is going to double. So imagine when it becomes a $2, $3, $4 trillion economy, what all is going to happen. Technology is going to make a big difference. Within real estate, you know this better than I, REIT is expected to come in. There will be a big shift in the industry where instead of individuals and developers owning assets, it will be institutions who own assets. So just like it happens in other countries, insurance companies, LIC, UTI, pension funds, banks will be the owners of real estate. And that means that all of you would be working for more professional firms. There will be more transparency, there will be more professionalism in the whole industry. There is also FDI, which is going to increase both equity and debt. As you know, the government is talking about smart cities, housing for all, investment in infrastructure, be it road, transportation, power, etc. So really, next 20 years, we will see a lot of action, a lot of growth, and it will be a completely different market. Also, I have to mention that you must have heard a slogan, there is no business like show business. I always maintain there is no business like real estate or infrastructure or construction. And the reason for that is, there is no industry which real estate or construction does not touch. So if you go to airport to catch a flight, that airport is real estate. You go to shop, you're sitting in this hall, this is a real estate. You're coming to a college, you're going to a hospital, hotel, you take a metro, any manufacturing. All of this is real estate, and we as a company and other companies work in this domain. So there is no business really which touches every industry. I would say that if you're looking at any country's economy, and we get a lot of these research data coming from our different offices and other places, I feel there's if you want to know how the economy is doing, you look at those reports, because every industry would need some structure, some real estate. Even if it's e-commerce, even if you're working from a laptop from home, you still need real estate. And therefore, the real estate trends really tell you how the economy is doing. And therefore, this industry is going to grow. We are still, in spite of us being there for 21 years, we are not even scratched the surface. It's really the next several years which there will be huge new opportunities, professionalism, billions of dollars coming into the industry, and massive opportunities and growth which we have not seen in the past. With that, I would just want to say that I want to wish all of you a great future, great success. I'm sure if you work hard, and with all the opportunities